What's up, guys? Happy New Year's. I hope you guys all partied responsibly. This story is a pretty funny one, but it was really scary when it happened to me. This story takes place last year. It was when winter kind of just struck, the first snowfall of the year. And anyway, I worked at a car wash during this time, and it was pretty good. It was boring most of the time, especially during winter because there'd be like no cars that would show up. And I also worked with my friend Dre from the last video, and as well as my brother. So yeah. So I got out of bed, brushed my teeth, and then waited for my mom to drive me to school because I had school on this day. And afterwards, I had work from, I think the shifts went from like 4 to 10, and I worked alone for this shift. So I got there, and when you get there, you have to put on this like reflective vest. And I had these dope rubber boots that I would always wear. They had a hole in them though, so it kind of defeated the purpose. But yeah, it was all a normal shift. And actually, my manager on my lunch break got me some pizza. And the thing about my manager is she was super nice in the beginning, but she absolutely switched up on all of us, me, Dre, as well as my brother. And she was super nice. She would buy us food like every other shift almost when we first started, and then it took a dark turn. But that might be for another story time. The ruthless car wash manager. But anyway, this shift went by pretty fucking slow because there was like nobody showing up, and it was coming close to the point where we'd have to close. And at first you would close like half a side for a bit and then leave. There was 10 bays in total, and then you would leave the other 5 bays open for anybody that showed up really close to the time that we closed. And what sucks is we have to let the customers through if it's like a minute until closing, which really sucks. But yeah, anyway, I remember on this day there was a person that came like 5 minutes before closing, like all mudded up. And usually people take around 20 minutes to an hour. And this person took like a fucking hour. I remember it so clearly. It was the most boring shit of my life. But anyway, I was just rounding up all the garbage cans and like putting all the garbage in bags by the back door. And that's where people would come through. But we could use it to get out to like the dumpster where we'd throw shit out. So once I rounded up all the garbage bags, I put it into this bin that we had. And it had wheels, so it made it a lot easier to get to the dumpster because it was like a minute walk to it or something. And when I step outside, I see a light flashing around in the dumpster. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And then I'm like, there's no way there's somebody in there, right? And I see this bag with a bunch of cans in it beside the dumpster. So I walk over there. I lift up the dumpster lid. And there's this homeless guy in there. And he's just scrummaging around. He scared the fucking shit out of me. He just looks up at me. It was a headlamp I was seeing. He had a headlamp on. He was going in, looking for all the fucking bottles and stuff or the bottles and cans, yeah, that he could take to the bottle depot to get money for them. And I was like, dude, what are you doing? And he's like, oh, I'm just collecting cans, bottles. And I was like, oh yeah, okay. Well, we're closing soon, so you're gonna have to leave pretty quick here. And he's like, oh yeah, I won't be too much longer. Don't worry. And I'm like, okay, well, yeah, do you need help with anything? And he's like, oh, I actually lost my glove. And I'm like, okay, well, there's not much. I'm not getting in there with you. I can assure you that. And he's like, oh yeah, no worries. And he's like, can you hold this headlamp for me? And I'm like, yeah, for sure. And so I'm holding this headlamp for him, just shining it around. And he's like, I think I left it over here. And then he's like, no, I think it's over here. He couldn't find it, both areas he was searching for. So I was getting kind of impatient. This was like span of 10 minutes. And then he finally fucking finds it like in like a completely different location of the dumpster that he was looking, where he was looking, and he finds it. He continues to, he just continues to search for more bottles and cans. And I'm like, I didn't really say anything. He was talking about politics and stuff while I was there, and I was like, I was just going along with it, and just having a normal conversation with the guy, and he was pretty cool. Actually, he was telling me how he lived like beside these, like in between these two apartment buildings, and he was just posting up there, I guess. I was like, oh yeah, so you're not too far, because that's pretty close to the bottle depot. And I was like, oh yeah, so you're just gonna bring those in the morning or something? And he's like, yep, for sure. Yeah, he's just talking about politics and stuff, and like how the prime minister is like the Canadian prime minister is shitty, and everybody knows that. So I was like, yeah, I guess so. And then he was talking about how he did in fact have a job, but he lost it because of COVID and stuff. So I was like, oh, that's really shitty, man. And it sucks. It really does suck to know that people are actually hard workers, but they lose jobs to that type of stuff you can't control. But anyway, he just has these 2 bags, and I'm like, full of cans and bottles, and I ask him if he needs help carrying it to the front of the building, but I really just was impatient and wanted him to leave. It sounds like I'm a dick, but I am a nice person, and I'll give people help if they need it. But anyway, he finally gets out, and I'm like, well, yeah, it was nice talking to you. And he's like, oh yeah, you're an amazing kid. And I was like, oh yeah, thank you. And I was like, good luck on getting a job and stuff and all those things. But yeah, he had this little shopping cart that he probably I think that he stole from a nearby grocery store or something. So he had all of his stuff in there. Yeah, he just starts pushing it, and then he goes inside of the car wash, like in the main entrance where you pay and stuff, and he starts thanking my manager for the trash goods, I guess. And she's like, oh, okay. But yeah, so he takes off, and yeah, oh yeah, something I forgot to mention is he found these Gatorade bottles that had they were like over half full, and he was like telling me how he was gonna drink them on the way to his little living quarters. And I was like, oh yeah, that's a good idea, gotta stay hydrated. I was just so fucking grossed out. But yeah, he took off. I thought he was gonna, I'm glad he wasn't one of those aggressive homeless people, because that wouldn't be good. Golden didn't want to lose his life that day, especially to a homeless guy during my minimum wage job shift. Yeah, that's the story of how I found a homeless guy in my dumpster at work. I thought this would be an enjoyable story time, so let me know what you guys think. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you want to see more like it. Oh yeah, and I just about forgot the lesson of this story, but I don't really know if there is a lesson. Maybe don't go dumpster diving. That's a pretty good one. But yeah, rather than that, I don't think there's much else. Oh, and maybe don't go into car washes when they're 5 minutes from closing, because that's a piss off. But yeah, I don't gotta worry about that now. Yeah, thank you guys for watching. See you in the next one. Later.